We are returning today to the Player's Handbook, and we are moving on to the next class, the Druid. Now, I had a Druid in my campaign, but the player who chose to be a Druid was a first-time player, and spellcasters are very difficult to play, especially if you have never had any contact with DnD before. So she recently changed her class to Ranger. She wanted to keep the connection to nature, and most importantly, she wanted an animal companion. So of course she chose the Beastmaster subclass. Anyway, today is all about the Druid. Holding high a gnarled staff, wreathed with holly, an elf summons the fury of the storm and calls down explosive bolts of lightning to smite the torch-carrying orcs who threaten her forest. Crouching out of sight on a high tree branch in the form of a leopard, a human peers out of the jungle at the strange construction of a temple. Keeping a close eye on the cultists' activities. Swinging a blade formed of pure fire, a half-elf charges into a mass of skeletal soldiers, sundering the unnatural magic that gives the foul creatures the mocking semblance of life. Whether calling on the elemental forces of nature or emulating the creatures of the animal world, Druids are an embodiment of nature's resilience, cunning, and fury. They claim no mastery over nature. Instead, they see themselves as extensions of nature's indomitable will. Power of nature. Druids revere nature above all, gaining their spells and other magical powers either from the force of nature itself or from a nature deity. Many Druids pursue mystic spirituality of transcendent union with nature rather than devotion to a divine deity, while others serve gods of wild nature, animals, or elemental forces. The ancient Druidic traditions are sometimes called the Old Faith, in contrast to the worship of gods in temples and shrines. Druid spells are oriented toward nature and animals, the power of tooth and claw, of sun and moon, of fire and storm. Druids also gain the ability to take on animal forms, and some Druids make a particular study of this practice, even to the point where they prefer animal form to their natural form. Preserve the balance. For Druids, nature exists in a precarious balance. The four elements that make up a world, air, earth, fire, and water, must remain in equilibrium. If one element were to gain power over the others, the world could be destroyed, drawn into one of the elemental planes, and broken apart into its component elements. Thus, Druids oppose cults of elemental evil and others who promote one element to the exclusion of others. Druids are also concerned with the delicate ecological balance that sustains plants and animal life, and the need for civilized folk to live in harmony with nature, not in opposition to it. They accept that which is cruel in nature, and they hate that which is unnatural, including aberrations, such as beholders and mind flayers, and undead, such as zombies and vampires. Druids sometimes lead raids against such creatures, especially when the monsters encroach on the druid's territory. They are often found guarding sacred sites or watching over regions of unspoiled nature. But when a significant danger arises, threatening nature's balance or the lands they protect, they take on a more active role in combating the threat as adventurers. Creating a druid. When making a druid, consider why your character has such a close bond with nature. Perhaps your character lives in a society where the old faith still thrives, or was raised by a druid after being abandoned in the depth of a forest. Perhaps your character had a dramatic encounter with the spirits of nature, coming face to face with a giant eagle or direwolf, and surviving the experience. Maybe your character was born during an epic storm or a volcanic eruption, which was interpreted as a sign that becoming a druid was part of your character's destiny. Have you always been an adventurer as part of your druidic calling, or did you first spend time as a caretaker of a sacred grove or spring? Perhaps your homeland was befouled by evil, and you took up an adventuring life in hopes of finding a new home or purpose. Quick build. You can make a druid quickly by following these suggestions. First, wisdom should be your highest ability score, followed by constitution. Second, choose the hermit background. Class features. As a druid, you gain the following class features. Your hit die is a d8, and you have 1d8 per druid level. Hit points at first level, 8 plus your constitution modifier. Hit points at higher levels, 1d8 or 5 plus your constitution modifier per druid level after first. Proficiencies. Armor. Light armor, medium armor, shields. But remember, druids will not wear armor or use shields made of metal. Weapons, clubs, daggers, darts, javelins, maces, quarterstaffs, scimitars, sickles, sling, and spears. Tools, herbalism kit. And you are proficient in intelligence and wisdom saving throws. Skills. Choose 2 from Arcana, Animal Handling, Insight, Medicine, Nature, Perception, Religion, and Survival. Equipment. You start with the following equipment in addition to the equipment granted by your background: a wooden shield or a simple weapon, a scimitar or any simple melee weapon, leather armor, an explorer's pack, and a druidic focus. You know Druidic, the secret language of druids. You can speak the language and use it to leave hidden messages. You and others who know this language automatically spot such a message. Others spot the message's presence with a successful DC 15 wisdom perception check, but can't decipher it without magic. Spellcasting. Drawing on the divine essence of nature itself, you can cast spells to shape that essence to your will. Cantrips. At first level, you know 2 cantrips of your choice from the Druid spell list. You learn additional Druid cantrips of your choice at higher levels, as shown in the cantrips known column of the Druid table. Preparing and casting spells. The Druid table shows how many spell slots you have to cast your spells of first level and higher. To cast one of these Druid spells, you must expend a spell slot of the spell's level or higher. You regain all expended slots when you finish a long rest. You prepare the list of Druid spells that are available for you to cast, choosing from the Druid spell list. When you do so, choose a number of Druid spells equal to your Wisdom modifier plus your Druid level. The spells must be of a level for which you have spell slots. For example, if you are a 3rd level Druid, you have 4 first level and 2 2nd level spell slots. With a Wisdom of 16, your list of prepared spells can include 6 spells of 1st or 2nd level in any combination. If you prepare the 1st level spell Cure Wounds, you can cast it using a 1st or 2nd level slot. Casting the spell doesn't remove it from your list of prepared spells. You can also change your list of prepared spells when you finish a long rest. Preparing a new list of Druid spells requires time spent in prayer and meditation, at least 1 minute per spell level for each spell on your list. Spellcasting ability. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for your Druid spells. Since your magic draws upon your devotion and attunement to nature, you use your Wisdom whenever a spell refers to your spellcasting ability. In addition, you use your Wisdom modifier when setting the saving throw DCs for a Druid spell you cast and when making an attack roll with one. For example, spell save DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your Wisdom modifier. And your spell attack modifier equals your proficiency bonus plus your Wisdom modifier. Ritual casting. You can cast a Druid spell as a ritual if that spell has the ritual tag and you have the spell prepared. Spellcasting focus. You can use a Druidic focus, found in Chapter 5, as a spellcasting focus for your Druid spells. Wild shape. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your action to magically assume the shape of a beast that you have seen before. You can use this feature twice. You regain expended uses when you finish a short or long rest. Your Druid level determines the beasts you can transform into, as shown in the beast shape table. At 2nd level, for example, you can transform into any beast that has a challenge rating of 1/4 or lower that doesn't have a flying or swimming speed. For example, at 2nd level, you can shape into a wolf. At 4th level, you could shape into a crocodile. And if I understand this correctly, at 8th level, you the limitations are gone. You can shape into creatures that walk, fly, and swim. For example, you could now also shape into a giant eagle. Interesting. You can stay in a beast shape for a number of hours equal to half your druid level, rounded down. You then revert to your normal form unless you expend another use of this feature. You can revert to your normal form earlier by using a bonus action on your turn. You automatically revert if you fall unconscious, drop to 0 hit points, or die. While you are transformed, the following rules apply. Your game statistics are replaced by the statistics of the beast, but you retain your alignment, personality, and intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. You also retain all of your skill and saving throw proficiencies in addition to gaining those of the creature. If the creature has the same proficiency as you and the bonus in its stat block is higher than yours, use the creature's bonus instead of yours. If the creature has any legendary or lair action, you can't use them. When you transform, you assume the beast's hit points and hit dice. When you revert to your normal form, you return to the number of hit points you had before you transformed. However, if you revert as a result of dropping to 0 hit points, any excess damage carries over to your normal form. For example, if you take 10 damage in animal form and have only 1 hit point left, you revert and take 9 damage. As long as the excess damage doesn't reduce your normal form to 0 hit points, you aren't knocked unconscious. You can't cast spells, and your ability to speak or take any action that requires hands is limited to the capabilities of your beast form. Transforming doesn't break your concentration on a spell you've already cast, however, or prevent you from taking actions that are part of a spell such as Call Lightning that you've already cast. You retain the benefit of any features from your class, race, or other source, and can use them if the new form is physically capable of doing so. However, you can't use any of your special senses, such as dark vision, unless your new form also has that sense. You choose whether your equipment falls to the ground in your space, merges into your new form, or is worn by it. Worn equipment functions as normal, but the DM decides whether it is practical for the new form to wear a piece of equipment based on the creature's shape and size. Your equipment doesn't change size or shape to match the new form, and any equipment that is new and any equipment that the new form can't wear must either fall to the ground or merge with it. Equipment that merges with the form has no effect until you leave the form. That makes sense. Druid Circle. At 2nd level, you choose to identify with the Circle of Druids, the Circle of the Land, or the Circle of the Moon, both detailed at the end of the class description. Your choice grants you features at 2nd level and again at 6th, 10th, and 14th level. Ability score improvement. When you reach 4th level and again at 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th level, you can increase one ability score of your choice by 2, or you can increase 2 ability scores of your choice by 1. As normal, you can't increase an ability score above 20 using this feature. Timeless body. Starting at 18th level, the primal magic that you wield causes you to age more slowly. For every 10 years that pass, your body ages only 1 year. Beast spells. Beginning at 18th level, you can cast many of your druid spells in any shape you assume using wild shape. You can perform the somatic and verbal components of a druid spell while in a beast shape, but you aren't able to provide material components. Archdruid. At 20th level, you can use your wild shape an unlimited number of times. Additionally, you can ignore the verbal and somatic components of your druid spells, as well as any material components that lack a cost and aren't consumed by a spell. You can gain this benefit in both your normal shape and your beast shape from wild shape. Druid circles. Though their organization is invisible to most outsiders, druids are part of a society that spans the land, ignoring political borders. All druids are nominally members of this druidic society, though some individuals are so isolated that they have never seen any high-ranking member of the society or participated in druidic gatherings. Druids recognize each other as brothers and sisters. Like creatures of the wilderness, however, druids sometimes compete with or even prey on each other. At a local scale, druids are organized into circles that share certain perspectives on nature, balance, and the way of the druid. Circle of the Land. The Circle of the Land is made up of mystics and sages who safeguard ancient knowledge and rites through a vast oral tradition. These druids meet within sacred circles of trees or standing stones to whisper primal secrets in Druidic. The circle's wisest members preside as the chief priests of communities that hold to the old faith and serve as advisors to the rulers of those folk. As a member of this circle, your magic is influenced by the land where you were initiated into the circle's mysterious rites. Bonus cantrip. When you choose this circle at 2nd level, you learn one additional druid cantrip of your choice. Natural recovery. Starting at 2nd level, you can regain some of your magical energy by sitting in meditation and communing with nature. During a short rest, you choose expanded spell slots to recover. The slots can have a combined level that is equal to or less than half your druid level, rounded up. And none of the slots can be 6th level or higher. You can't use this feature again until you finish a long rest. For example, when you are a 4th level druid, you can recover up to 2 level worth of spell slots. You can recover either a 2nd level slot or 2 1st level slots. Circle spells. Your mystical connection to the land infuses you with the ability to cast certain spells. At 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th level, you gain access to circle spells connected to the land where you became a druid. Choose that land: Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp or underdark, and consult the associated list of spells. Once you gain access to a circle spell, you always have it prepared, and it doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare each day. If you gain access to a spell that doesn't appear on the Druid spell list, the spell is nonetheless a Druid spell for you. Now I'm skipping over the spell list and move on to Lance Stride. Starting at 6th level, moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. You can also path through non-magical plants without being slowed by them and without taking damage from them if they have thorns, spines, or a similar hazard. In addition, you have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magically created or manipulated to impede movement, such as those created by the Entangle spell. Nature's Ward. When you reach 10th level, you can't be charmed or frightened by elementals or fae, and you are immune to poison and disease. Nature's Sanctuary. When you reach 14th level, creatures of the natural world sense your connection to nature and become hesitant to attack you. When a beast or plant creature attacks you, the creature must make a wisdom saving throw against your druid spell save DC. On a fail save, the creature must choose a different target, or the attack automatically misses. On a successful save, the creature is immune to this effect for 24 hours. The creature is aware of this effect before it makes its attack against you. Circle of the Moon. Druids of the Circle of the Moon are fierce guardians of the wilds. Their order gathers under the full moon to share news and trade warnings. They haunt the deepest parts of the wilderness, where they might go for weeks on end before crossing paths with another humanoid creature, let alone another druid. Changeable as the moon, a druid of the circle might prowl as a great cat one night, soar over the treetops as an eagle the next day, and crash through the undergrowth in bare form to drive off a trespassing monster. The wild is in the druid's blood. Combat Wild Shape. When you choose this circle at 2nd level, you gain the ability to use Wild Shape on your turn as a bonus action rather than as an action. Additionally, while you are transformed by Wild Shape, you can use a bonus action to expend one spell slot to regain 1d8 hit points per level of the spell slot expended. Circle Forms. The rights of your circle grant you the ability to transform into more dangerous animal forms. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your Wild Shape to transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as 1. You ignore the max CR column of the beast shapes table, but must abide by the other limitations there. Starting at 6th level, you can transform into a beast with a challenge rating as high as your druid level divided by 3, rounded down. Primal Strike. Starting at 6th level, your attacks in beast form count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks and damage. Elemental Wild Shape. At 10th level, you can expend 2 uses of Wild Shape at the same time to transform into an Air Elemental, an Earth Elemental, a Fire Elemental, or a Water Elemental. 1000 forms. By 14th level, you have learned to use magic to alter your physical form in more subtle ways. You can cast the Alter Self spell at will. So much for the Druid. I hope, as always, that you found this relaxing and maybe you learned something. Thank you very much for spending your time with me, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye, fellow nerds.